guys, it's Cecilia, aka ForRealCeil, what 90 Days Can Do, and the MLS Bitcoin Club. So I was having a conversation about the storm and, being prepared for events that are beyond our control, and having a plan. It's super important as individuals to weather for the storm. And that storm, is not only relating to climate. A storm could be any significant impact or any significant event that has an impact or changes your situation for a period, for a day, for a time, for an hour, for life, possibly. So there are many kinds of storms, and being prepared for those changes takes shape in a lot of different ways. One, being spiritually covered, having God and having faith in a higher being, and being good to other people, typically. Being a caring person, empathetic to other people's situations, and also, just building yourself up mentally, physically, and spiritually. So there are a lot of reasons why people struggle. And they struggle oftentimes because they're not prepared. They don't have an idea or a plan. So planning is super effective. Even when your plan takes place in the form of a goal, where you actually want to set a target, design your ideal outcomes, and then journal it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at my vision board, and I'm seeing things come to fruition, and I just love that. And I have to acknowledge it, because if I don't acknowledge it, I will stop. Because yes, do I get tired of doing certain things? Yeah. Do I sometimes feel like I'm not making the progress that I should have made? Absolutely. There are times when I feel like just giving up. I just feel like just saying, you know what, I'm not going to do all of the things I'm doing anymore. I'm not making no progress. Like, I haven't got my first property yet. I'm talking about for investing. I own a house. We own a property, but I live in it. My thing is, I'm still trying to get some investment properties under my belt, and pretty soon I'll be approaching a year of having established my LLC, and still have not yet gotten a property. Now, I look on my Fortune Builders Masteries Facebook page, and I see other classmates and other mastery students that are flipping already and that have some properties. And I'm saying that's wonderful, because I applaud that, and it's motivation for me, But the state financing and all of that all take a factor. But the thing is, I already know that it really doesn't require any money to start getting money in investing real estate, and it's for lack of not doing certain things. So I can only blame myself for not having what I want already. I'm planning out some stuff. I'm working on my webpage with my autoresponders, because I'm going to put out another capture page and do some stuff. I'm going to start doing some serious computer generating leads, and I'm going to put out some leads for buyers and for owners now. So I'm going to touch base with a couple of owners that I spoke to before about properties that I would love to use as Airbnb, because that's a way to start with very minimal out-of-pocket expenses, depending on what you're trying to do and depending on what's already existing at the location. So I'm looking for anyone who may have a space, rental area or rental space that you want to rent out to me in northern New Jersey, down south, up here, wherever. It has to be in, turnkey, condition right now for me to invest in it. And what I am willing to do is to maintain, furnish, and keep it maintenance, but your responsibility as an owner or as the leaser is to, do any significant repairs other than anything incurred by short-term tenant that I may have there, which I would definitely insure the property in the event of something like that and be responsible for repairs. So with that being said, I'm throwing it out there. I'm looking for owners of property who are renting units, who are willing to let me sublet as long as I maintenance and keep the property up. And the benefit of this to owners out there who are listening is that your property will be maintenance, it will be clean, you won't have regular long-term tenants there and have the problems of smoking in the property, pets eating or chewing on stuff, or urinating in the properties, weird and bright paint colors that tenants sometimes choose to put in the property and then don't repaint or damage, the wear and tear of the typical household of tenants that may have been there long term. And, it's generally a much quieter environment because sometimes people are there seeking solace for whatever reason. They just want to get away for some peace and quiet. Or in the event that it's a party city or other environment, then it is what it is. But guys, the message is out there. That's what my train of thought is right now. I'm looking forward to hearing back any responses. My number is 877-322-5587. And that is ForRealCeil LLC. The number is 877-322-5587. That is 18773. Call us. Okay, that's the number. And just working on what I need to do to improve myself, and working on what I need to do to improve my outcome for getting the ball rolling, because I want my solo 401k. I want my self-directed IRA. I don't want to continue to rely, which I don't rely on, the 401k from the job. It's a nice thing, but it's not mine. I really have limited control over what is done through there. That's why I love the infinite banking system so much. It is absolutely the way to go, and I can say nothing but great things about having the ability to utilize cash in that way. It's unconceivable. It would have been, it's like, oh my God, I can't even express it. It is like a joy. It is like a breath of fresh air, really, to just have something like that so powerful, and to know that that's forever. That is something that is good. It is good. And what is so super important and powerful about the infinite banking is once you have a policy and you have put in your max limit, pretty much the policy paid for itself for life. You can actually, after your first or second year, not make any monthly payments to your policy, and your interest on the money or the cash value alone will pay for the policy. And after 5 years, your death benefit just starts increasing, even though your cash value is way up there. It's astronomical. It's it's just a really great thing to have. So if you want to learn more about a whole life policy with cash value, with a MEC limit, contact me. We could discuss it. It's really cool. You need to be a member of MLS, really, because there's so many financial tools, so many things that I'm learning inside of this club. It's amazing. Can't express enough how powerful these financial tools are. You know, I've learned a lot, and I've been exposed to a lot of stuff, and I listen to Susie Orman, and I listen to Les Brown, and I listen to other people who talk about, you know, money. What's this guy? Pete Hunt. And listen, they're all talking my language, and my language is financial literacy. My language is empowering myself to have more and to grow. I'm exploring and I'm learning things, and slowly but surely, before I know it, I'll have multiple properties under my belt, and not only Airbnb properties, but, you know, rental and long-term buy and hold rental properties, or I'll just keep flipping, because I'm not sure if I will want to have long-term rental properties unless they're managed by a management company, which is, you know, probably the best way to go. So I look at Memphis Invest. Yeah, I checked out, you know, these people, and it seems good. Kent Clothier, I believe, is their family established Memphis Investment, where they have properties that are doing well and are very marketable areas that are fully maintenance and managed, and you purchase them and they rent, and then all you do is receive a check. That's great passive income. I'm going to start again exploring the tax liens. I've been doing a lot of research and going online, but again, even with tax liens, you have to do due diligence. You can't just purchase a tax lien on a property. You need to, one, make sure the property is even there. Two, what kind of condition it's in. Three, what are the current liens that are on the property? Because certain liens are very bad, like an IRS, a government lien on a property. You can forget it. You're always going to be second to that, and if it's huge, then you may wind up buying that debt when you purchase that property through a lien, or through buying a property lien. So just be careful what you do if you're doing that. I'm saying this because, you know, I was listening also, and I'll just go a step further. There's a guy, Paul, it wasn't a Sajan. I'm not talking about the brothers from Fortune Builders, but there was a guy who spoke at the Real Estate and Wealth Expo, and they were going over the property tax lien possibility, because they have their own program. But I'm a Fortune Builder student, so I have my mastery information, and I have the tax lien program information. I don't need that other stuff. Yes, it's all over the road. And they were discussing the redemption period, for example. There are things that you really need to know about buying property liens, and then gaining a property through a sale, through a tax sale. Because yes, you can gain ownership of a property through a property tax sale, right? But there is also an after sale redemption period, and that redemption period in some states varies. You know, it can vary, and it can be up to 2 years, and I believe in Texas it's up to 3 years that a person, after losing their home to a property tax sale, can come back and claim their home. You know, so you gotta be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get a home, flip it, put money into it, and guess what? the previous owner could come back and walk right back into that home and repossess that home, and there's shit you can do about it. So you need to know that. You need to be aware of laws in different states about that, and do your due diligence. Again, there's a lot that goes into it, and some people really don't care too much about EPA issues or the area, but in real estate, location is everything. You don't want a parcel of land even that you can't market. They say everything is marketable. That's not true. Most things are marketable. I mean, at one point, some things, well, maybe it is true, but you got to know who your buyer is. Okay, so let's rephrase that. Everything is marketable, but are you in a position, or do you really want to have the whole time required to market every type of property? So you need to be more selective in what you're getting yourself into, and just be aware that there are, situations that you can put yourself into that you might not feel like you want to deal with. You might not want to hold a property for a long time, especially if it's high taxes, especially if it requires that you maintenance it during certain seasons, like winter. You might have to do snow removal on the property. If it's a large area, you have to either do it yourself or hire maintenance to do those things. And if it's in a high tax area, you're paying those taxes. And again, in the winter, you have to have a home winterized and or keep utilities on, keep heat on. So there is a lot that goes into just having a property, whether it's vacant or whether it's occupied. So it's just all food for thought. It's all very important and significant in your choices. So that's why I'm very selective, and that may be a little downside, and that may be why I don't have a property under my belt yet, because I'm thinking of all these things. I'm realizing that just every deal is not a good deal. So we have to do due diligence. You have to be able to crunch numbers. You have to have a MOU ready. On point. Be on point with your numbers. Know how to do a scope of work. Know what's going to go into the property, and see costs for rehab, because the ARV has to work in order for you to even accept the deal. The profit is actually in the purchase. If you don't get a great purchase price, your profit can be shot. If you don't have a team of contractors that you can rely on, that care about their work, have a good work ethic, or even consider the kind of portfolio that they could build by doing excellent work and beautiful work that's quality, then you're dealing with shit. You need to have a plan. You need to be ready. You need to build your list. I have a list of contractors. I have a list of realtors. I have a list of electricians. I have a list of roofers. I've been building and journaling stuff. I also have a list of owners that don't even know me, that I've never even spoke to, but they're in my list because I can contact them and ask questions. And I found this list in a very surprising method that I used one day, and I was online and I realized that I could attain numbers and names of real property owners, and it was great. It was extensive, and I captured every single one that I could in the areas that I had an interest in. So yeah, it's really good. Utilizing databases, utilizing tax records and payment history and owners. Again, You don't want to get into something where there's multiple owners on a property, because if there's more than one person who could make decisions about a property, it could tie things up, you know, because not everybody is on the same page. Not everybody wants to sell a property that may be in the family, or some people have different ideas or different values, and they say, hey, no, this property is worth a whole lot more, where another member may be like, you know, I just want to get rid of it, it's a burden. So knowing all of those things, taking into account every single aspect of property acquisition, the process of rehabilitating, the process of staging, the process of, you know, signage and marketing. You know, a great realtor is good and very helpful in a lot of those stages of the process, but as an investor, you need to know all of those areas. Some people say you shouldn't, but knowledge in action is power. And if you don't know what needs to be done and what has to take place in order of a purchase, a sale, or whatever in between, then you're lost, because you're pretty much just, you know, being told by other people what to expect, and that's not good. You need to have a set standard. You need to have your expectations. You need to know exactly what you want, what you're looking for, what the end result is that you need, and how to go about it in the right manner. So there are so many different things that go into investing in real estate, investing in self. Again, you know, discipline, continuing your education. Don't ever get to the arrival syndrome. You know, that's the point where you feel that you learned it all and that you know everything and you can't learn anything else. Every single day, I try to learn something new. I had a conversation with my friend, Ira, all right? We talked, and we were doing the turtle tank, and we were cleaning the tank and stuff, and I can't work with him, boy. He is so difficult for me. But I had plugged in a floater filter that just funnels charcoal, all right, and we put it in a tank and all this stuff, and it kept pulling to the side. Even though I had suction cups, it was like one. The filter came with another tank. It came with the crab tank that I bought. It was a fish tank, but I used it for hermit crabs, right? So I said, I don't need a filter. I could always use extra charcoal in the turtle tank because the water gets cloudy, right? So I put it in there, but it only came with one suction cup. So we had a little suction cup. I put it on the top to hold it to the glass. And the cord was put in the cord was put through one of the tank holes. We have holes that cords run through and stuff, right? So he said, you gotta take the cord out and put it through the other hole. It's through the wrong hole. And I'm like, what do you mean? It doesn't make no sense. So he got to tell me. He's like, all you have to do is look. It's like, look, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, but I asked the question, like, why should it be in another hole? What sense does that make? And instead of simply just telling me the reason, he's like, all you gotta do is look. Like, really? You don't understand? I said, no, I don't. And then he said, you gotta put it on the side that the cord is coming from on the unit. And, bells went off in my head, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Now I get it. But I would not have thought about that. I just put it in. I'm like, hey, it's in the tank, it's plugged in, it's running, and the water's going through it, and it's filtering the tank, right? This motherfucking guy. Really? So, I got it. And he said something to me that pissed me off, kind of, because it was like, you don't have to ask questions to learn. I'm like, some people don't, but I'm a vocal person. I'm working with a live person. Why not ask the question? If you're not sure, if you don't understand something, you should always ask the question. You know, I hear people say there's no such thing as a stupid question, and they're right, because as long as it's something that you want to understand, and again, everybody understands things differently. Some people are verbal, some people are visual, some people are in writing, it has to be in written print, or some people, you know, just don't understand anything sometimes. But there are all different ways of teaching and all different ways of learning. And if I have questions, I'm going to ask questions until I'm like blue in the face, because if I don't understand something I want to learn and I want to hear somebody say this is the answer or this is the reason why, then I'm going to ask it. Because I wouldn't be benefiting myself to sit and act like I understand something that I really don't understand. That makes no sense. So people, please, whenever you have a question, if you're curious or if you are uncertain or are really not clear about something that you've been taught or told about or told to do and don't understand why, ask the question. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. And I'm like, anybody who sits there and act like they understand something and they really don't is just pretty much a fool. All right, that's what a fool is, because you cannot pretend. Now I just reached work, so I gotta go. I'm getting ready to. I gotta get out the car and unlock the gate and stuff like that. But guys, you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. It was really nice getting to talk to you.